Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into another deep dive and we're looking at some of the most emotional, hilarious, and, just unforgettable moments from Friends.
Yeah, it's a really fun one today. We're tracking a very specific character evolution.
Right. We are following Ross's journey from becoming a father for the first time all the way to welcoming baby Emma with Rachel.
And, while Friends is obviously famous for its comedy, this specific storyline acts as a really incredible mirror for the show's broader themes.
Like friendship, finding your chosen family, and just the really messy reality of growing up together.
Exactly, because we're stripping away the laugh track a bit today to look at Ross not as the academic, but as a dad.
Yeah, because every parenting journey begins with that absolute shock of the unknown. And for Ross, the story begins when he finds out that his ex-wife, Carol, is having a baby boy.
Which is funny because originally he actually wanted the baby's gender to be a surprise, right?
Mhm.
He wanted that cinematic hospital moment.
He did. Although everyone around him already knows the gender, Ross wants to wait. But after accidentally discovering the truth, he's overwhelmed with joy and excitement.
Well, completely overwhelmed.
Mm.
But at the exact same time, he starts worrying about whether he's really ready to become a father.
Because, let's think about who Ross is. He's a paleontologist. He studies fossils.
Right. Things that have been dead for millions of years.
Exactly. Fossils are fixed, they are predictable. And suddenly he's handed this unpredictable, living human ecosystem.
His entire scientific method just completely falls apart, so naturally he panics.
He totally panics and he turns to his own dad for advice.
Which is such a grounded moment. He goes to a senior authority figure looking for a manual.
Right, but what he learns is that nobody truly feels prepared. His dad tells him that sometimes becoming a parent is something you understand only when you finally hold your child in your arms.
It's a devastatingly honest piece of wisdom. You don't pass a test to become qualified. Readiness is basically a myth.
Yeah, which perfectly explains why, when Ben is finally born, the hospital turns into complete chaos.
Oh, it's a total disaster. You have Ross, Carol, and Susan all trying to manage everything, trying to navigate this really complex modern family dynamic under massive pressure.
And then things get even funnier when Ross and Joey accidentally lose track of which baby is Ben in the nursery.
They are staring at identical infants, and they have absolutely zero paternal instinct to guide them.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. They almost decide his identity with a coin flip.
They literally pull out a quarter.
Comparing a baby's identity to a coin flip is like letting a magic 8-ball choose your college major. It's funny in a sitcom, but it is terrifying in reality.
Oh, absolutely.
So how does this extreme physical comedy perfectly mask the very real, existential panic of becoming a first-time parent?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the show balances that absurdity with genuine wisdom. The physical comedy is just a psychological defense mechanism.
Right. It's easier to focus on a ridiculous problem than a real one.
Exactly. It's way easier for Ross to focus on the immediate, absurd crisis of identifying the baby than to face the creeping terror that he has no idea how to be a father.
He's terrified. He's fundamentally unqualified.
Yeah. And that advice from his father earlier, that acts as the emotional anchor for the whole scene. It validates Ross's panic, reminding us that readiness is an illusion.
So everyone is basically flipping a coin in the dark when they first become a parent.
Pretty much.
Well, once that sheer panic of keeping a newborn alive subsides, Ross faces his next challenge. As Ben grows up, he becomes a toddler with a mind of his own.
And that forces Ross to confront his own expectations. The parameters completely change.
They really do. And this brings us to the Barbie doll incident. Ben becomes attached to a Barbie doll, and Ross just short circuits.
He cannot handle it. He becomes completely obsessed with making sure his son likes boy toys.
He's frantically shoving action figures into this toddler's hands.
Yeah, because Ross doesn't view the Barbie simply as a toy. He views it as an indictment of his ability to raise a normal son.
Right, based on these rigid societal standards.
Exactly. We have to remember that Ross himself was a nerdy, sensitive kid who got bullied. So his desperation for Ben to play with G.I. Joe is really just a blatant overcompensation for his own childhood insecurities.
He feels out of control, so he tries to exert control over his son's identity. But Ross later realizes that being a good father is way more important than forcing his own expectations on his son.
Right. He has to dismantle all those rigid ideas he brought into parenthood.
And here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because we jump forward a few years and we see this staggering contradiction in his behavior.
The holiday episode.
Yes, one Christmas, Ross dresses up as the hilarious Holiday Armadillo to teach Ben about Hanukkah, creating one of the funniest moments in the series.
It is legendary.
But think about the contradiction. He tried so hard to enforce rigid, traditional gender norms with the Barbie doll, but he is completely willing to invent a bizarre, non-traditional holiday mascot just to share his heritage.
That is such a great point. And it shows his crucial growth phase. He shifts from projecting his own insecurities onto Ben, like with the Barbie, to realizing that fatherhood requires flexibility.
And a lot of humility.
Right. With the armadillo, he is operating out of a desperate desire for connection. He wants Ben to understand his Jewish heritage.
So he just sheds his own ego.
Exactly.
Oh,
He learns that being a present dad means having the humility to look completely ridiculous in an animal suit for the sake of your kid's cultural education.
he stops caring about looking like a dignified, conventional father.
Which is a massive leap forward for him psychologically.
It really is. But of course, just as Ross seems to have a handle on fatherhood, a massive curveball years later proves that no two parenting experiences are the same.
Oh, the ultimate curveball.
Another huge surprise arrives when Rachel reveals that she's pregnant with Ross's baby.
And his reaction is a masterclass in psychological defense mechanisms.
Ross is completely shocked. He even starts blaming the condom company.
He stands there, holding the wrapper, just screaming about how they're only 99.9% effective.
He demands to know why they don't print that on the box in giant neon letters.
Right. It is pure denial and bargaining. Facing the actual emotional weight of the situation, especially with Rachel, is simply too much for him to process in that exact moment.
So what does this all mean? With Ben, he looked inward and sought his dad's advice. With Emma, his first instinct is to blame an external factor, the condom company. It's almost like a teenager getting caught breaking a vase and blaming gravity.
That is a great analogy. It's totally absurd.
But despite that initial reaction, he slowly accepts the reality that he's going to be a father again. And I think it's fascinating how quickly he pivots to being a fierce protector.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights Ross's maturity. He skips that prolonged, agonizing, am I ready existential crisis he had with Ben.
Yeah, she doesn't need to ask his dad this time.
Exactly. He moves straight into action. As Rachel's pregnancy progresses, Rutten becomes incredibly protective and supportive.
He reads the literature, he goes to the appointments, he transitions from a panicked guy to the anchor of the room.
Night and day compared to his experience with Carol.
So true. And then, after a long and exhausting wait at the hospital, baby Emma finally arrives.
And everyone instantly falls in love with the adorable little girl.
But they hit a pretty big snag right away. Finding a name for the baby proves difficult. Rachel is completely empty-handed.
Nothing feels right to her.
Exactly. Until Monica makes this incredibly selfless gesture. Monica gives Rachel her favorite name, Emma.
Which is huge. Monica is notoriously obsessed with control. She had her children's names planned out since she was 14.
Right, so for her to just give it up.
It signifies how the concept of family has completely expanded beyond just the biological parents. By gifting that name, Monica is anointing Emma as part of her own lineage.
Emma isn't just Ross and Rachel's child.
No, she is the entire group's child.
And from that moment, Emma becomes the center of everyone's lives. But I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
On paper, raising a child in a cramped Manhattan apartment with a bunch of chaotic, overly involved friends who have absolutely zero boundaries, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
In the real world, yeah, probably.
So why does this specific dynamic feel so heartwarming instead of like a dysfunctional nightmare?
Because the chaos you're describing is completely mitigated by this massive psychological safety net. The chosen family dynamic works because it provides a structure of unconditional love.
They act as the missing pages of the instruction manual that Ross's dad warned him didn't exist.
Exactly. Ross's journey from a nervous father to a confident dad is only possible because he has this deeply supportive community around him. They catch him every time he stumbles.
Which we really see culminate as Emma grows up. The gang captures special memories for a birthday video that she will watch when she turns 18.
They spend a whole day creating a literal time capsule for her.
And their messages are filled with love, jokes, and hopes for her future. It really shows just how much she means to the entire Friends family.
That birthday video time capsule represents the ultimate thesis of the show. It proves that the story was never really just about dating in New York.
No, through all the laughter, chaos, and emotional moments, these episodes remind us why Friends is more than just a sitcom. It's a story about friendship, family, love, and growing up together.
It really is. It's about the messy reality of creating an ecosystem of support.
And honestly, Ross's journey from a nervous father to a loving dad is one of the most heartwarming storylines in the entire series.
Absolutely. He starts with unadulterated panic, flipping a coin in a nursery. Then he goes through the painful process of unlearning his ego-making peace with a Barbie doll and wearing that armadillo suit.
To finally becoming the deeply protective father of Emma within this beautiful chosen family.
And I think that brings it right back to you, the listener. Because whether you are a parent, an aunt, an uncle, or just a fiercely loyal friend, we all have a role to play in someone else's village.
We all have the capacity to be those missing pages for someone we care about. It's a powerful reminder of the power of community.
Definitely. Monica gifting the name Emma, Joey, and Chandler, keeping Ross grounded. These are blueprints for how we can all invest in the people we love.
So true. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today.
Okay, let's hear it.
If Ross's journey teaches us that nobody is ever truly prepared for life's biggest changes, and that you only figure it out once you're holding the responsibility in your hands, how much of our own lives are we currently over-preparing for?
Oh, that is a great question.
Right. How much time are we wasting obsessing over an instruction manual that doesn't actually exist, instead of just trusting that we'll figure it out when the time comes, with our village standing right beside us?
Something we should all probably ask ourselves before the next major life shift happens.
Absolutely. Well, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite Friends moment in the comments below. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.